What's a commonly taught historical fact that just isn't true? That the Treaty of Versailles was some uniquely super terrible thing that hurt the Germans' fifis so bad they just had to Hitler. Nothing wrong with the treaty by the standards of treaties at the time. Look at Brest-Litovsk that they signed when Russia noped out, for comparison. And the Germans never really even tried to pay it honestly. It just suited both sides politically to pretend it was the worst thing ever. During the potato famine in 1845, Queen Victoria donated just £5 to the Irish, and the very same day donated £5 to the Battersea Dogs Home. She actually donated £2,000 of her own personal money and sent out several rounds of letters encouraging others to donate, raising thousands more. Additionally, the Battersea Dogs Home wasn't founded until 1860. The English and their monarchs have historically treated Ireland and the Irish like utter shit, but you can't fault Victoria on that particular point. The Gutenberg Bible is not the first book printed using metal movable type. The first book printed using movable metal type is Jikji from Korea. It was printed during the Goryeo dynasty and published in Gyeongdeok Temple in 1377, which is 78 years prior to Johannes Gutenberg's acclaimed 42-line Bible printed during the years 1452 to 1455. UNESCO confirmed Jikji as the world's oldest metal oid type in September 2001 and includes it in the Memory of the World program. This is more of an uncommonly taught historical fact that is absolutely true and just isn't included in most curriculums among thousands of others. Since its inception, the United States government has broken every single treaty pact agreement that it has ever made with any Native American tribe. Notre Dame coach Devine always wanted all players to play at least one snap. Never was against ready to play. Didn't have to be pressured by a chanting crowd, which didn't happen. Players didn't come into coach's office to turn in their journey. Many schools will teach who invented electricity. Nobody invented electricity, it is a part of nature. An invention must have been created by a person and cannot have existed before the person who created it. Electricity predates all of humanity. That Emperor Constantine called the Council of Nicaea to create the Catholic Church and edit the Bible. He had absolutely nothing to do with either. The Council of Nicaea only dealt with settling the Arianism heresy. That a scientific revolution occurred during the 16th and 17th centuries which turned a largely agricultural Europe into a scientific powerhouse. Source: The Scientific Revolution, Professor Stephen Chapin. The heteronormativity surrounding many great leaders. For example, shit you'd find in our Sappho and her friend and Achilles and his pal. Sorry heteros, Alexander the Great put the hell into Dick and Hellenic. Lemmings don't actually follow each other mindlessly. That horrible documentary that shows they do involve the director literally throwing lemmings off the cliff to make it look real. That the Allies fought a clean war. Obviously the overall fight was just. But we committed a lot of war crimes, many of which had highly debatable benefits to the war effort. It's different now, but in my school days it was Columbus discovered America and the people of the United States were going to be the first nation to govern themselves. Controversial, but 6 million people were murdered by the Nazis. This is the amount of Jewish people murdered. The total number murdered is nearer 11 million. That Paul Revere shouted the British are coming. And the Boston Tea Party was because of a tax rise. It was actually a tax cut that undermined local smugglers. That Germany was the only country to invade Poland in 1939. Oddly, no one mentions Russia, who invaded 2 weeks later. While you learn about World War II in high school, in the UK we are taught that Britain and America won World War II. We tend to forget the Eastern Front and just how vital Russia was to defeating Germany. That Columbus discovered America first, he didn't. Vikings did just read. Terran Alliance. Australia was colonized by declaring no people lived here, so no treaties were made with the indigenous people living here. Pretty much all of Russia's history, they literally changed their history books when the Ukraine war started as well. So tragic that the ancient world wasn't interconnected. Afghanistan metals were found at British Isles before the advent of bronze. Jewish slaves built the pyramids in Giza, Egypt. The vast majority of Egyptologists agree this wasn't the case. In the US, that the Vietnam War was a draw. The US absolutely lost. Why people hate mentioning it so much. Most things around Columbus. He discovered America, he was the only one who knew the earth was round, etc. Spanish flu didn't originate in Spain, it was just hit hard by it in the early stages. That our soldiers were brave in WW2. Some were, but most were just frightened kids. Native Americans were peaceful, got along before European settlers showed up. Hitler going to art school would have done nothing to stop World War II from happening. Nero had Christians fighting in the Colosseum. None of both is true, slaps middle school books of world and American history.